Hi everyone, Indez here. What a great time to be a barb. First we had this one-shot build, then we had the best version of Lacerate build ever, the Lace Break. And now we have a fusion of both of them, taking the best of each other to create a new one by the one and only HOTA and Mob1lux. If you guys are still new to the game and you guys don't know them, HOTA is a great content creator. You guys should check it out, his channel. And Mob1lux was one of the creators of one of the most popular builds in Diablo Immortal until now, the Strife build for Demon Hunter. So thanks to them, I couldn't sleep like very well properly. I was so excited to wake up today and make this video for you guys. I tested it, and in this video I'm gonna show you the skills, the instance, the set items you need, and then if it's worth it or not to play this build. So first, very quickly, let's start with the skills. We have Lacerate. This is our primary attack, very strong skill. Then we have Wrath of the Berserk, big and strong. We have the Sprint, of course, to be fast. We have the big freaking Thor hammer to smash everything. It is so fun to play with the hammer, man. And then we also got here the chains to boost our damage and to grab them. It's so satisfying to play with the chains. So let's move on to the instance. So for the helmet slot, Mob1lux is using the Outslang helmet instead of the new one, Curvax. And in reality, I wish I could use it for extra more damage, but since I'm free to play and my crit options are way more limited because I don't have rolling consequence, and of course I'm not as stacked as Mob1lux, after all the testing I did, in 10 out of 10 tests, this helmet outperformed the Outslang. I understood the reason why he's using to create the Firestorm to extra damage and also to get extra stacks for the hammer. However, if you only have, for example, Mother's Lament at rank 5 like I do, and you don't also have the rolling consequence, your crit in PvE will most likely be very lacking. So 20% free crit from the helmet, it is so powerful. Then on the next one of the MVPs of all time, this chest, Shackled Fate, you already know it, is the one that summons the spirit and pulls them in. It is freaking insane. This like instance is so powerful. It's so nice. And together with the Buried Talons is the perfect match. Whenever you use the chains, it increases your damage for 19%. Then we have the shoulders, Nature's Temper. These shoulders are so strong if you're using a primary attack. So in exchange of a bit of your life, you get to empower your primary attack with an additional 6,000 damage. And have in mind that these numbers are not the real numbers. These are the base numbers that then is going to be multiplied with your stats. Then we get Rending Bite. Whenever you use Lacerate, it's going to add a bleed. And why we're using this one and not Ardent Fang, you may ask. Well, because with the bleed coming from the Rending Bite, we can also use the Falling Thunders. Whenever you are in the Wrath of the Berserk mode, your damage gets to increase by almost 30%, man. Huge, insane boost. And then we got here for the other main end, we got Stonefall that is going to increase our Hammer of the Ancients by almost 20%. And of course, you guys know it, the MVP rune of this new patch, Flicker Tone. It is incredible. So if you still didn't use this instance, man, all you need to know is like whenever you have your hammer with this blue circle around, you're just gonna smash. So you smash, and then you have to wait for the hammer to recharge again. So let's make, for example, I'm gonna go to the target, I'm gonna turn on my Rat, Sprint, and Chains, and then I'm gonna wait like just like half a second for the hammer to recharge it. It is so good. So let's test it. 3, 2, 1. And then you just go, you just like literally smashing. Look at my DPS on the 3 freaking million. It is crazy. Bro, it's just insane. As a free-to-play player, 2.4. I got like even higher scores, man. I literally, thanks to this build, had such a huge spike of damage that I made to do for the first time the level 5. Don't you have something better to do? No, I don't have, you asshole. And it's a barb. Jesus Christ. It feels good to be a barb right now. So very strong build. Then for the set items, Mob1lux came here with such an interesting combination that personally I gotta admit I didn't thought about it. And since we are using dots, it's using my favorite set on the game, which is the Grace. Not only your dots will do more damage, but every time you deal 5 times damage to the enemy, you'll get an additional lightning bolt dropping on him. It is pretty satisfying. And you may ask, well, but why are you using Grace and not Barons? Well, because this build is all about to recharge your hammer with the Lacerate and your dots in the middle of the animation. So whenever I go and I attack, what I want to do is, if you see and if you look really close to my icon, is pretty much every time the cooldown comes back, I got my hammer recharged. And it's thanks to things like Grace, things, for example, super massively important, Wrath of the Berserker. I only got 2 out of 4. I could have more, but I lose a lot of stats. And the last 4 pieces, we have 2 pieces of Banquets to give us 15% damage on enemies with dots. And of course, the last 2 pieces are gonna be Vithu's Urge to increase our beneficial effects. And also you may be wondering, why aren't we using the 4 pieces of Vithu's? Well, is Mob1lux tested and explained, and I believed in him. He said that since we are using the normal version of Wrath of the Berserker, we already get the 50% attack speed. So if you don't know, in this game, the highest value buff is the one that remains. So it doesn't matter if you have like 50% attack speed buff, then another one with 40, 30, 10. You have like 10 buffs with a percentage of attack speed. You could even have 50. It doesn't matter. Only one will count the highest attack speed buff. So if you have 50% coming from the rat, your 4 pieces bonus of 30% attack speed, it won't work. So just have this in mind. Very, very useful information. And thanks to Mob1lux to test it out. So now let's talk a bit about the gems. Well, in this build, I got myself a Gloom Cask. So thank you, Blizzard. This one is a big upgrade if you're using primary attack builds. It creates a lot of damage. You're gonna see, like, when I go here and attack the target, there's like this shadow that appears on top of me, and you'll do like this AoE ability that creates extra damage. So it is a great 5-star. And above all, why am I putting this here? Because it is a gem that even at rank 1, if you guys see, it works so well. It literally will increase my damage by like 300,000 just by having this gem. If not, of course, we can now go with something more simple. For example, the Misery Elixir that, you know, is one of my favorites. I still use it in PvP. It will extend your dots, which is gonna make your hammer recharge faster. Then we have the best gem in the game, Berserker's Eye. If you're starting the game, please build the gem. Super overpowered. Get it to rank 5 as soon as I can and awaken your slots. Then we have Fervent Fang. This one, I think it is so overpowered. You can get it from the battle pass. I think it's so worth it. If you get this to rank 10, it will do insane damage. Not only you get like 13% at rank 5 extra damage, but also you have an increased 3% to elites and bosses. So do I need to say anything else? Mother's Lament, the best 2-star gem crit in the game. I am still using Everlasting Fang, best 1-star dot gem in the game, so you can never go wrong with it. Then we have Pain Clasp. Whenever you have a dot on the target, damage over time, your damage will be increased by 13%. Super OP. Then we have the best 2-star dot gem in the game, Viper's Bite. It goes so well with the Pain Clasp. These two, it's like they are married, okay? It's like you very rarely will use Viper's Bite without Pain Clasp, but of course you can use Pain Clasp with other dot gems. This one, you will see even spenders with everything 5-star, and they have still the rank 10 Pain Clasp gem. I'm looking at you, Kel'Thuzad. But the main reason is because it is just super OP. It gets like 24% damage at rank 10. And of course, last but not least, the Blood Soak Jade, the best gem in the game for me. Not for the damage, but also the damage is nice, but because it increases your movement speed by 10%, which is insane. Please don't underestimate how powerful it is having movement speed in this game. And you may be starting the game and you might not have the Blood Soak Jade, but don't worry, the game over time, it will give you these pearls that once you get to 40, you can go and craft in the jeweler any 5-star you want of the game. I'll recommend that after you get 1 copy, then just save most of them until you have enough pearls to create the copies that you need to rank your Blood Soak Jade. But why don't I just use it? Every time that I have 40 pearls, I can just craft an extra Blood Soak Jade. Well, I did that. But the main issue is that this is a very RNG game. You never know what you're gonna get whenever you're running your internal or legendary crest. And just in a slim chance that you might get a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5 of any kind of a gem, you may need to change your plans. So imagine you got the Blood Soak Jade and you get a 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 Rolling Stone. No, not Rolling Stone, Rolling Consequence. But even like a 3 out of 5, it is already insane. Rolling Consequence and Blood Soak Jade are the best gems in the game. So then you may reconsider your options. Now for the normal gems, always go red gems, damage, 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 damage. Blue, armor pen, armor pen, armor pen. And then for all the yellows, potency, potency, potency. Okay, that's literally all you have to do. This is PvE. In an ideal world, this is how you build your character. But the reality is like you might not have enough normal gems to do that. So sometimes you're going to have to slot, for example, a resistance gem, because the rank 6 will also increase the damage of your gloves. And if you don't know, the main reason why you want to have always the 3 slots. And for example, here, I don't have, right? Because I just crafted this for testing. I didn't have a great set. But the reality is like this necklace sucks. It doesn't have the 3 blue socket. So I'm losing armor pen on this. And because not only am I losing armor pen on this, I'm losing life that it comes from scaling this. So for a quick example, you understand what I'm saying? Right now, I have 1,450 damage on my gloves. But if I'm going to remove all the gems, like now we're getting just 1,000 damage from the glove. So this is the main reason why I say never sell your normal gems. Secondaries are the key and most important thing in this game. So please make sure you do this correctly. And I already mentioned this. Let's talk about substats. The biggest and best substat that you can get for this build, it is the Wrath of the Berserker, because while you transform, you are exploding all the time. It's kind of interesting and sometimes annoying. If you're like a sound in the game, you're gonna be always exploding. If you see, like if I go here near the target, it's gonna do actually great damage, because every time you explode also makes your pet want to attack the target, then your dots will be active, and overall like it's just a good AoE passive ability to recharge your armor. And then just focus on the obvious crit damage and attack speed if you can. That's how you do more damage. So now for the Paragon, very quickly, let's make here some changes. I'm gonna change my Paragon. I'm gonna go with this one, and I'm probably gonna play with this one, because again, for the free-to-play players, crit is still an issue. Mother's Lament is literally is really not enough to do all the damage that you need in the game. So having here 2 to 8% more crit damage, it is really good. So post-editing Indez here. I just noticed my mic was not working for a few sections of the video. So Reforge sets, this is what I use. But I'll most likely advise you to take Mob1lux one, especially if you're maining BARB or like primary attack kind of builds. It seems like extremely good. So this is also something that I will have in mind for the future. Unfortunately, for free-to-play players, Reforge stones come like money. Well, it's hard to get, right? So be mindful with these changes. And also, since we are already here, this is exactly the same recommendation that I make on other videos. 2 pieces lashes, that whenever you do the primary attack, like 3 tentacles are gonna come and hit the mob. And the other one, 6 pieces of the tested. This one is probably like the best curse set for PvE when it comes to damage. That is also gonna create another damage over time. Every time you hit the enemy, it's gonna add 1 more dot. So if you're full PvE, go with this. 6 pieces of tested, 2 lashed. Or if you're mainly a PvP guy, which you're probably gonna be at the end game, 6 pieces nettled and 2 pieces lashes, it is for me one of the best combinations. So since purification shards, they come like very easily on the game, you can just switch around and test it for yourself. Not as a big deal as the Reforge stones. And here there's also talked very quickly about the Warband. If you don't have one, just get one. Is very important, not only for you to boost your CR, but also because of these rooms. 99% of the time you're gonna be using the protector to increase your size so you can run faster. But if you want to really increase your damage and boost your damage in raids and challenge rift, always change to the attacker room. If you see the attacker room is going to increase your damage by 6%, then the critical hit damage when you have 70%. It's just such a great damage boost overall. But these ones, they take a lot of time, and gladly my Warband, they did a massive job before I even got here. So yeah, thank you guys for these remnants. They are hard to farm and take some time. And so now back to you, Indez. And last but not the least, most of the times, if I'm not doing these DPS raids or the challenge rifts, I'm using my big boy right here, Quake Strider. It doesn't matter the type of the pet. What it matters is like it has the savior. This pretty much will save your life all the time. Of course, the godly pet will be to have legendary savior and legendary lingerians, like Mob1lux says. Look at these, man. 35.9%, which I think you can go to a maximum of 36 because his pet is 198. What a loser, man. You don't have 200. What are you doing? I'm joking, of course. This is a freaking insane pet, but I'm a broke boy. I don't have enough plat for these things. So as a closing thoughts, do I recommend this build? Where does this build stands for and who is it from? Well, this build, it is great if you want to just like do insane burst, and above all, just have some fun, man. Just have fun in this freaking game. Test new things, test new builds. Go with a one-shot, go with a Lacebreaker, go with this one. Just explore the game, try to have some fun. That's the main thing. However, for me, for a 24/7 build, I feel like you got a few disadvantages, especially if you are a mobile user, because on mobile, it is very hard, and you can actually go and try, because I tried to play this build on my iPad, and I was struggling to keep up with the Lacerate while spamming the hammer. So I think this is a big downside, but if you're like me right now on the PC, this is pretty easy. You just literally hold your primary attack, and then I got the hammer on the right click, and I'm literally just spamming the right click. So this is how it looks. I go to the target, and then literally I'm just spamming, and then your keybinds can be whatever you want. So 2 million damage. Also, another downside of any HOTA build, not just this one, HOTA build have a huge spike of damage compared, for example, to Lacebreaker, that it is higher damage overall, very steady damage, even when your legendary gems buffs really go down. And for me, the second biggest downside that I don't enjoy to play with, it is, man, the normal Berserker, it just sucks, man. It increases your attack speed, but look at the cooldown of this. You have it for 12 seconds or a bit more, and then you have to wait for 9 seconds. And for 9 seconds, you just look like a loser, man. So this is the biggest downside, because you only have like 12 seconds of window damage. So I go here, and you're gonna see, man, like once I stop transforming from rat, my damage will decrease a lot. Like, look at this. It went from like 2 million to 1.5, and it pretty much just losing like half of your damage while this is in cooldown. And for me, this is a huge downside. So you may be asking, what build do I recommend? It is still the Lacebreaker. It is the easiest build to play with. You just go to the target, you jump, you literally turn on your things, nice lag, and then you just start killing the targets. It might not have like the highest burst ever, but it is a very continuous sustained damage. And if you guys want to know more about it, I have a full video on it. So this is about it for today. Go have some fun, explore new builds. Shout out for Orat for making the guide, and Mob1lux for finding like this insane crazy burst build. You guys rock. So thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.